an Amazing Toaster running lowercase f. I believe both of those are the strength agility builds. So both players wanting to maximize their run potential in Sharlock as we are off.
All right, so to note, we are going to be looking for either a pair of wings or the return spell in order to save the key that you get here guaranteed. And we do actually see the harp and those wings that I just mentioned. So, more than likely, we will see both players' wings out of the throne room, save the key, and then with no gold, I expect to see a save and then a treasury check in order to potentially pick up a key and gold to buy additional keys.
Jackimus making the interesting play to walk out and immediately start looking for a town. Have to ask him later what it was that he wanted to do with that, as ETAP mentioning there was a silver harp in the throne room, which was the same as the seed over on Randomania 2. He's a little worried we might have a similar situation to that seed, but so far a little early to tell.
And this treasury looks like some gold, the stones of sunlight, and a couple of torches. So, unfortunately, no extra key to just pick up all of your keys right at the start of the game. But yet another of the 3 items that we're ultimately going to need for that rainbow drop is both players now have the stones of sunlight.
Yeah, well, Jackimus reset. He reset completely, so he doesn't have any items right now. Amazing Toaster making the interesting decision to go ahead and save. He just, like I said, just got some gold and stones of sunlight, and he's gonna lose half that gold, but okay. It looks like Amazing Toaster is trying to make the play to see if he can't find a town to spend that money that he found in the treasury. I'm curious if he's going to do a full reset if he can't find that town, but we'll have to see what he chooses to do here.
Why do you think Jackimus hard reset? Was it just forgetting that he hadn't saved and then accidentally costing himself some time, or do you think he might check what's down in Tentagel basement?
It is a possibility, but he also might have just not saved and just intended to do a hard reset. It doesn't take that much time. I mean, he's already back in the same situation he was before, and actually, just as you said it, he is heading over to Tangential Basement right now.
Alright, so usually you'd like to have some gold when you do this, so that way you can buy your keys up. But this time we're only going to get a basement check. He doesn't have torches, though, from the treasury. But we do find that the jerk is residing in Tentagel Basement, and now it looks like he might be opting to actually use that key on the treasury to get his stones and that big bucks chest in order to have some money for the early game, and then we'll probably see him save after that.
It's a possibility, although if I were him, I would want to hold on to that key just in case we found, for example, Garenham or Garen's grave, or just, again, hold on to it until he has enough money to go ahead and buy that key from the shop that we saw earlier in the back of Tantagel Castle. He will need 85 gold at least in order to purchase an extra key for himself there.
That is true, and if you're opting to run that route, you'd actually like to pick up 2, or no, I guess you're fine picking up 1, because the door will stay open. You can go grab the big bucks from the treasury and then buy up all the rest of your keys.
Exactly. 85 gold is all you need in order to get yourself situated nicely.
And it looks like Amazing Toaster may have found our wet noodle in a gray robe, the magician.
Yeah, there's to make it a little more sane for our competitors here. There is one monster guaranteed to be either around Tantagel or in the zones north, south, east, or west of Tantagel. I believe the zones are 16 by 16 tiles, and or not 16, 8 by 8 or something like that. Anyway, within those zones, there's guaranteed to be a monster that has 5 HP or less. And that monster will not hit very hard, to kind of give you a clue. And so it looks like the magician might be our ticket.
Yep, and as I noted in chat, I believe the zones are 15 by 15. So we have Jackimus in battle with the magician now. Goldman on Toaster's side, we just saw that on Jackimus. Not the wet noodle, and armed with Sleep and Hurt, which is going to be a nightmare for our runners at the early levels.
Oh, an excellent dodge on Jackimus's side. Terrible luck. I haven't gotten an exact count on how much damage Jackimus has done, but I want to say it's more than 5 damage on this magician.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think it's the wet noodle. It just hits like a wet noodle, but it has a little bit too much HP.
we got a fool's noodle. It's a fool's noodle here on this magician.
Yep, and that is probably the pool noodle that you take out of the pool and then you stick into an industrial freezer, so that way you can hit people even harder with it.
That sounds cruel. Is that something you did when you were a kid? Oh my!
No, it's chaos mode, man. Well, chaos mode doesn't pull punches.
That's cruel, man. You got some cruel commentary over here. So, alrighty, let's see what. Okay, we got AmazingToaster over here. Oh, he was in battle with a Drakemon. He decided to nope right out of that encounter.
And something we haven't mentioned yet is that the runner's only needing 34 EXP to get to level 2, so actually not too terribly high. One of the many features of Chaos Randomizer is that all enemy stats are randomized, so you can have slimes with hurt more, as you just saw on the screen. You could run into this ghost here on Toaster's side, could possibly hit for 35 damage. We have to obviously wait and see, but everything is randomized, including EXP and gold values. So part of gaining EXP as you go through Chaos Mode is finding what enemy actually gives you good EXP returns, because on top of all of that, your EXP to level is also randomized, and as you see here, 34 being a reasonable amount. Because you could possibly have levels that require several hundred in the early game, and in the mid game, possibly even up to the thousands.
Yeah, that's right. The randomizer is set to favor lower experience values in the early game, but that's not a guarantee at all. We have seen single-digit and double-digit experience values needed. But right now, both racers still looking for that first kill and hoping that it'll get them at least 34 experience, if not a little bit more.
Indeed. Yeah, very common to double or even triple, quadruple, quintuple level off of a kill in Chaos Mode, as those experienced levels could be... You know, we could have a situation here where they need 34 and then like 1, 5... 14, and if they kill an enemy worth 150, they could be shooting right up to level 5 or 6. But then you also have situations like in the end of my race where you had a level that required 5400 EXP, I think, and those are the levels you never ever want to see. And a correction from earlier, we actually have High Spirits doing tracking tonight.
Yeah, that's right. We do have High Spirits doing our trekking tonight, and while our runners are going ahead and trying to secure themselves that first kill, let's go ahead and read some introductions for our runners. For AmazingToaster, everyone calls him Toaster, so just go ahead and do that. And he says his main randomizer is Zelda 1 randomizer, where he was currently in the upper bracket quarterfinals for the tournament. He also races Zelda 2 randomizer, which he's looking at doing more of once he's done with the current tournaments. and he was looking at picking up Dragon Warrior Randomizer and figured the Chaos Tournament was as good a time as any to start. And over on Jackimus' side, we definitely have another matchup of Beginner's Luck versus Experience. Jackimus, no stranger to Dragon Warrior Randomizer, having gone deep in both of our two previous tournaments, one last summer and one the summer before that. Jackimus should be well within the top 10 on SRL standings for Dragon Warrior Randomizer now, and yeah, definitely the favorite in this match.
And during those introductions, I believe we got our first sighting of the big bad breath attack from Warlocks.
Oh, I missed that, but yeah, any enemy in this game, obviously all skills are randomized, and any enemy in this game can come and whip out that Dragon Lore 2 breath, which is almost certain to send our players back to the start.
Indeed, Dragon Lord Fire Breath deals, I believe, base is 63 to 72 damage. With the Erdrick's armor, it is downgraded to 42 to 48, rolling even numbers only.
That's exactly right.
Definitely nothing that you want to see this early on. Our runners have pretty generous health pools of 21 to start with, but that's not going to be enough to take a Hurt More or a Dragon Lord Fire Breath, both of which we have already witnessed during this seed.
There is such thing as what we kind of call baby breath, which is breath that usually only does about 18 to 22. Still potential to kill our runners if it rolls high, but something we haven't quite seen yet. But every once in a while you hear that breath sound effect and you think, oh man, I'm about to go back to start, and then all of a sudden you just take about 18 damage there. So something else for us to watch out for.
Indeed, and we are very much still on the hunt for the Wet Noodle. I'm the Magician making the best case for it, but definitely with more than 5 HP, so still a little bit of a struggle here as we look for any kind of enemy to kill without a critical being involved.
Yeah, Jackimus unfortunately already getting the critical dodge that we saw earlier against the Magician. Might have been able to take it down, but so far as we cross the 12.5 minute mark, neither player has gotten a kill yet.
And we see Jackimus breaking the harp out. This is something I absolutely love to see when you're in this kind of a situation on your seed. You cannot find anything reliable to kill around the castle. Strum that harp, as it has, I believe, 5 or 6 different enemies that it will pull from that are completely randomized. And who knows, one of them could actually be maybe not the Wet Noodle, or possibly the Wet Noodle, but at least killable.
Yeah, if Gameboy F9 or McGrew are in chat, they can correct me. I believe that there is a zone that the harp pulls from, regardless of where you are on the map. So it doesn't matter if you're in Sherlock, doesn't matter if you're right next to start. It'll pull from the same pool of monsters, and then yeah, it's basically a 1 in 6 shot at maybe something you can kill. Unfortunately, drawing a Scorpion with Baby Fire Breath, that does take Jackimus out.
But it's additional information on monsters you haven't seen in the surrounding zones, and additionally, it's just more chances to find something to kill this early on. And ETAP in chat saying that it was stated on the other channel that the harp only pulls from the zone that you're currently in. So, would be interesting to see if we get confirmation. It looked like that, but I thought I had a Chaos Seed where I ended up with a monster. Maybe it was just a monster I hadn't run into yet in the zone.
Unfortunately, Jackimus did land a critical hit, our first Kaishin no Ishigaki of the seed, but was still unable to kill this magician. And it looks like the magician is going to win this war of attrition. And so the magician going to be quickly ruled out as something killable for our players.
Yeah, as it now seems like multiple crits would be required. And there you're just throwing your hands up in the air and saying, RNGesus, take the wheel. Please give me some EXP.
A Ghost making a slight case for Wet Noodle. It's hitting a little bit too hard, I think, but AmazingToaster giving it the best shot that he can here.
Yeah, I don't think that this is the Wet Noodle based on how hard it hits, but I'm not 100% versed in the damage formulas yet. It maybe just our runners have that low of a defense to start with that the Wet Noodle can hit that hard even with low strength. I'm sure Game Boy F9 will be able to correct me if I am incorrect over that statement.
Oh, Jackimus may have found the Wet Noodle in the Magidraki. The Magidraki actually running away from him as he is checking. He is doing his due diligence and trying to check every single corner because you never know exactly where Zone 0 is going to be. Even though he's still so close to the castle, he could have crossed over into another zone in these forest tiles here. And as we cross the 16.5-minute mark, Jackimus is just trying for anything that he can. Even seeing Hurtmore from the Drakemaw did not stop him from trying to see if he could kill it, maybe with another critical hit here. As AmazingToaster now trying to just find another place on the map, and he does find himself a cave here, and it is the Stones of Sunlight cave. We have one free chest here, and inside is some fairy water. A little bit disappointing. Fairy water just mitigates some encounters, but another cave right next to it.
And that would have been absolutely huge if Toaster managed to find Erdrick's sword in there, as that could easily blow open the seed.
Yeah, I'm sure AmazingToaster was hoping that he might find Erdrick's sword there, but unfortunately that was not his fate. Next to that cave was another dark cave, but AmazingToaster just immediately exited, not wanting to attempt the cave in the dark, so we do not know which cave that is just yet. Jackimus.
Yeah, was that our first night sighting?
Yeah, I believe that was our first night sighting. Unfortunately, Jackimus falling to a Hurtmore there.
ETAP, now that you mention that, it actually is very interesting that we didn't see Toaster light up a torch in that cave. There were 2 torches in the treasury.
He may have forgotten that he had them. I wouldn't blame.
This is very true.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just forgot that he had them.
And we see that Magidrakes are indeed not our Wet Noodle monster, as they hit Toaster for 8 points of damage.
Jackimus went through the treasury and then reset. Yeah, he's seen that there's torches. He just doesn't have one on him right now.
And he also doesn't have the knowledge about the caves up there yet either.
Yeah, AmazingToaster is the one who has the torches and actually does not have keys right now because he opted to keep the gold and the torches.
And this looks like they really only have a couple directions to head from the castle, so even exploring for that town, not really getting very far.
And one of the most unfortunate outcomes as well is the fact that they're completely surrounded by mountain tiles. Mountain tiles giving a 1 in 8 chance of getting an encounter every single step. So it's going to be just making it that little bit extra harder for them to make any sort of progress here.
So Duncan Thrax in chat asking who rolled this debacle. I do believe that is High Spirits right there, fessing up to rolling 2 for 2 on Amazing Seeds.
High Spirits can't catch a break, man. He asked me, well, he didn't ask me specifically, but he asked someone else to roll the seed for his race. And yeah, anyone who was around for High Spirits and Azrael, I think that was also you in that race. That was a freaking doozy.
Are we referring to my race or my other commentary?
The race. It was High Spirits versus, I can't remember who High Spirits was against.
Oh, the 3-hour seed or just under 3-hour seed, right?
Just over. It was like 3 hours. Oh, the Alan Heffley. That's right. The Alan Heffley from the University of Kentucky. That was High Spirit's opponent in that 3+ hour marathon. Yeah, I rolled that one, so.
Yeah.
Just,
High Spirits.
Monstrous.
Oh, he rolled Chitin and
that's
Janice's
right.
3+ hour seed.
Oh, and we have another town sighting on Jackimus's screen. If he can get away, now he doesn't have enough health to get through the swamp. But another town sighting. So if there's anything for sale, I'm sure that Jackimus is going to be going for this town. And if there's anything for sale, I'm almost certain he's going to reset to get his gold here.
Well, we actually see him now opting to grab that gold so that he can save and get up there, because the last thing that you want to do is start trying to head up to that town since you know about it without the gold to scout the shop first, only to find it has something and then never ever make it back.
Yeah, exactly. So Jackimus choosing to spend that key and get himself some gold. And now he's probably going to be making his way back to that town.
Indeed, it is. He's willing to give up his key there, which I agree with. We finally have information on a town. It's a little far away. It's going to take a lot of luck to get to, but it could be exactly what Jackimus needs to blow this seed wide open.
Yeah, he's basically got to get there without taking any damage, just because it looked like there were about 5 swamp tiles they needed to walk through before he could get there. So we will have to see if he's able to make it.
Indeed, and we see Toaster getting a little bit of distance here to the left of the castle.
And he was able to get away from that red dragon. Walks right into a droll. Oh. Jackimus making some good progress here. He is getting through the swamp. He's walking north, and he's going to make it. Oh my
god, he's done it, and it's Garanham.
Oh, wow. Let's see what's going on here.
Ooh.
Everything.
Oh, wow. So, this might be the deepest feeling of regret, because you've just reached Garanham with your gold and not your key, only to find that the best you can buy is a small shield.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate. Jackimus choosing to spend his gold on dragon scale and some herbs.
More than
Those might
likely,
prove.
picking up
Those,
the shield too? Yep.
yeah, I would say, yeah, go ahead and pick up the shield. With all of this gear, I wonder if he's not going to try and kill more magicians or something of that nature. I think I saw an Amazing Toaster's screen Droll's hitting for 4, so Droll potentially also making the case for being the wet noodle monster. And Jackimus choosing to try and get a little more exploration done. I don't imagine he's going to use any of his herbs. He's just going to walk around until he dies or finds another town.
Indeed. So, small shield, I believe, is 4 defense, along with the dragon scales 2?
I believe so, yes.
Yep, that plus a combination of 6 herbs sounds like a great recipe for potentially killing one of these magicians, unless we find out that they have just rolled a stupid amount of HP.
It's true. Jackimus going ahead and choosing to save here so that if he dies, he can quickly reset. So he will, if he wants to get his key back, both runners are currently in the same situation. If either of them want to get that starting key back, they will have to hard reset and start completely over. Right now, they do have information at their disposal, and with 0 experience, a hard reset might not be that bad of an option for either player if that's what they choose to do.
Hello, Dragon Lord's Vacation Resort on the coastline.
Yeah, we do get our first sighting of Sharlock here on Amazing Toaster's screen, pretty darn close to home there.
Yeah, I believe Jackimus saves so that he can reclaim his herbs if something were to go wrong. And something we might actually see come into play here is that if Toaster gets up to Garenham, he ended up saving on just a near minimum 500 gold roll out of the treasury chest, where Jackimus got roundabout 700, and getting the Garenham with only 500 means choosing between herbs and the dragon scale or the small shield rather than taking everything.
Yeah, it would be very unfortunate for Amazing Toaster if he to make it to Garenham. Yeah, he would be very disappointed with his options there. So far, it looks like if Jackimus chooses to go over to the west, that might be his best play to try and maybe go south and find another town here. But instead, choosing to continue to walk around Tantagel and see if he can find a wet noodle monster.
Indeed, opting to, since he has that reset point, throw some herbs up on this Magidrakey in case it is indeed the 5 HP monster. It looks like it's hitting a little hard, but it could still just roll that low of an HP value to begin with.
It's true. As Amazing Toaster trying and trying to kill this magician, but we know from seeing on Jackimus's screen, it has at least 10 HP, if not more, unfortunately. I think that before, when Amazing Toaster, as he found Sharlock, he may have been trying to get to the other side of this little coastline here, as the wet noodle monster could be hiding again in the zone to the south of Tantagel, which unfortunately is across the sea there.
Indeed. Since you do not know where in Zone 0 the Tantagel Castle actually lands, the zones are 15 by 15, and the castle could be anywhere in the 225 squares that encompass that zone. So, if you happen to have, in this situation, Tantagel being the top left corner, then that zone to the south is definitely across the water there.
And Jackimus did it! Jackimus manages to take down a Magidraki and gets himself 5 levels. That is a bingo!
Wow, no spells, but quite a few levels.
And none too soon as we crest the 30-minute mark for both of these players. And thank you, ETAP, for noting in the chat that it is only 27 experience for the next level.
Very, very generous.
And chat also noting that when you gain multiple levels, the game will not tell you if you got a spell, only if you get a spell on the final level. So Jackimus would need to check his... Z-Man notes that he did check his spells and did not get any.
Yep,
okay.
Yep, he did indeed click his spell menu and it said no spells or whatever pops up.
And so now Jackimus, armed with the information that Magidrakis are fairly killable, but instead of trying to farm them, opting to explore here, it looks like.
This is understandable. You're 30 minutes in, you land your first kill. Exploration very well becomes a little bit of a priority of sorts because you have no clue if your opponent landed an early crit and is well ahead of you on exploration and or experience. It's definitely going to be feeling a little bit of pressure with that late of a first kill.
Jackimus absolutely no stranger to pressure as he instead opts to look for that second Magidraki, it looks like.
I would not be surprised if he attempts to take a fight with... Well, this Goldman's looking ripe for the picking as well. But also possibly trying to pick a fight with those magicians we saw earlier.
Oh, and is that another town in the swamp there on AmazingToaster's side that we have not seen yet?
That would be.
Unfortunately,
is that just north of the caves he was at earlier?
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, he's not going to make it. Was only left with 2 HP after that encounter, but he could get there later. And oh, Jackimus with the Kaisha no Ichigeki, allowing him to take down this Goldman for 233 experience points.
But only 1 level.
Very unfortunate there, but having that knowledge that Goldmen give out massive experience is surely going to help him later.
And the 3rd crit in 2 fights for Jackimus. Unfortunately, not enough to take down the Stone Man, who still is willing to stand and punch with Jackimus a little bit.
And AmazingToaster looked like he did not quite have any luck getting to that town, but I'm sure he is going to keep trying here. And yes, Jackimus quite literally punching his meal ticket as he takes down another Magidraki and also more than willing, I would imagine, to square off with this Goldman as well.
Indeed, he should still have some number of herbs left. Though this Goldman is the sleep and hurt troll for the early game, but definitely the meal ticket. And again, AmazingToaster makes it to that town with only 2 HP left.
And another Kaishin no Ichigeki for Jackimus as he drops that Goldman and does get himself at least 1 level here.
This is more than 1 level with that power gain. 3 levels. Radiant and Outside picked up. Outside going to be wonderful if Jackimus stumbles upon the south entrance to the swamp cave, as outside will immediately teleport you out the top entrance.
Hey, now, Radiant's got its uses, man.
Yeah, Radiant saves my bacon because I am terrible with dark caves. Partially because I'm still getting used to memorizing the layouts of the caves in the dark, and partially because I unfortunately play on a Xbox 360 controller that I can get my computer to recognize easily, and that D-pad is possibly the worst thing in the universe.
Yeah, they're. I actually went and I went and bought myself a Super Famicom controller just for that purpose. I was also getting very frustrated with the Xbox 360 D-pad. But yeah, navigating caves in the dark, not the most fun thing in the world. So having that Radiant spell can help our runners out here.
And we do have Jackimus having acquired level 10 off of yet another gold man.
Demon Knight making its case for being the wet noodle monster here. But Jackimus does opt to run away.
At this point, Jackimus with 9 level ups very well might have enough defense to make a few more enemies look like the wet noodle.
Noticeable lack of Dragonlord 2 breath thus far, just from the Warlocks, as AmazingToaster opting to hard reset, and it looks like he does want to get his key back, giving up the money that he had from before.
He also changed his name.
Oh, yes, he did. He changed his name to Capital Z, giving him a Strength HP build as well as slightly different starting stats.
So I would not be surprised to see Toaster opt to check the basement, since he has not done that yet. And then possibly do what Jackimus did, reset one more time to get his key back, and then check the treasury or wait until he actually gains more information. Nope, electing to just go straight for the treasury again.
So, while AmazingToaster was doing that, Jackimus did manage to take down a ghost and got a comfortable 186 experience off that.
Ouch. Yeah, that was a rough seed for Tristal, but that was, based on when I looked at it just before this race started, that was quite a gain from Tristal in short order before It's Too Early managed to finish.
Dufair at 60. AmazingToaster is a level 1 because that's kind of how Chaos works sometimes. Jackimus was able to purchase himself some herbs and use herbs to take down a Magidraki. That Magidraki got him to level 4, and he's been steadily climbing ever since. But unfortunately, AmazingToaster has not made it to any towns yet, so not able to pick himself up some resources.
However, what we do see here is that he is now saved with a 714 gold total. So when or if he does manage to get to Garenham with all that gold, he will be able to do very much the same as Jackimus, get that shield, the dragon scale, and a full complement of herbs, and then hopefully be able to score himself a magician or a Magidraki kill.
As Jackimus makes it to the town that AmazingToaster is only able to look at from afar and finds that it is Cantlin. And checking the weapon shops here, finding not too much that's super useful and also super cheap. Well, it looks like the Silver Shield was about 4,000, so something that you can't buy now but might want to buy later.
Yeah, Silver Shield at a very nice price this seed.
And doing his due diligence, checking the store in the bottom right corner, does find himself a few cheap weapons to pick from, but unfortunately just a little bit short of that copper sword.
Yeah, he hovered over it. He wants it, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him try to score a couple kills right outside the town, go back in and grab that copper sword, as it is the second best weapon that money can buy, and a significant upgrade over the club.
Yeah, it is true. Unfortunately, no cheap flame sword available in either of those shops to help our runners out. But the club, I would imagine, a welcome upgrade for Jackimus here.
Indeed. And we did catch that Jackimus needs just shy of 1,000 experience to get up to 11. So only 1,300 and change for the climb from 1 all the way up to 10, but you're going to need to almost double your EXP to get up to 11.
So Arturo's noting in chat, this opening area is brutal. It is true. This is chaos, but even for chaos, I would say that this opening area has proved to be exceptionally difficult for both of these players.
Indeed. The only way to break the seed open, it looks like, is to manage to find yourself Garenham, which is several screens away through a swamp that will require you to pretty much arrive at that swamp unscathed, and then buy yourself all of the defenses that you can afford, plus a complement of herbs, just to take out one of the lesser threatening enemies in the starting area.
Yeah, it is true. Jackimus also managing to punch down a stone golem and got himself a comfy 187 experience from that monster. So finding a couple of different high experience monsters there. Oh, and a Drakemoth for 161. That looked like to be a pushover.
Yeah, it really seems like this seed is very, very generous on the EXP, but very, very demanding in how you can even get access to that EXP.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case here. Once the seed opens up, it opens up quickly as Jackimus getting his first kill just before 30 minutes, and then here we are barely 13 minutes later, and he's already up to 2,000 experience for himself.
And he's... I would have expected him to make the run right up to the Cantland to buy that broadsword.
Jackimus doing his due diligence and checking out the bonus cave. Unfortunately, just missing the cave to his east. What's inside that cave, we still don't quite know. Jackimus choosing to go south.
That could be a very big find if Jackimus does stumble upon it, as he has Radiant.
It's true. Whatever cave is over there to the east of that bonus cave, Jackimus will be able to make short work of it. Now, chipping his needed experience down to just 311. Just a couple kills here. This Drakemoth going to get him about halfway there by itself.
Tie-dye guy in chat noting that Toaster could use the fairy water he found to make it to the swamp town. I don't believe he has the fairy water anymore because he hard reset. And additionally, as Ampharos notes, when you're level 1 with pretty low strength, fairy water is not going to do you too many favors. And Jackimus...
No guarantees of fairy water outside when you're level 1, and yeah, when your defense is low there, for sure.
And we have Jackimus scoring off with an AK-47, noted for his absolute destructive power from Vanilla Randomizer, and doesn't seem to be shying too much on the ability to fight with Jackimus here as he sends Jackimus back to the sin bin.
Yeah, even at cresting that level 11 there, this seed's still not letting Jackimus do too much in the way of exploration, as yes, Drosy 1, level 11, and no heal spell in sight for Jackimus here.
Yeah, it looks like we might have yet another Chaos Seed with all of your important spells locked behind levels 14, 15, and 16. And 12 also coming with no MP gain. Not too much of a problem when you already have 87, but also no spells.
Oh, and Jackimus dealing some big damage here to this Drakey, but not able to kill it here, and does fall to it.
Indeed. And we see 1,800 and change for level 13. If I was Jackimus, I might actually just hang around the castle and punch away at Magidrakeys, Magicians, and Goldmen and get that 1,800 EXP and see if that level 13 is hiding heal more and or hurt more to really break this seed open.
Yeah, I think sticking around the start until you get heal more would not be a bad play here. So many monsters identified that, especially that Drakey mod, that are just absolute pushovers and hand out the experience on a silver platter here.
Yeah, has there even been a single monster near the castle that's granted double-digit EXP? I think every single one's been triple.
The Magidrake, I believe, gave 97, the first kill that Jackimus got.
Okay, 97, very, very close to still being triple digits. And we see another town here for Jackimus?
I think AmazingToaster might be feeling a little bit frustrated here.
Indeed, and we have yet another name change. We are going with the little F this time.
AmazingToaster opting to go back to the little F, which is what he had started with, and not even opting to use the wing. Oh, there we go. Jackite noting that yes, there is possibility that Jackimus might feel that he's behind. Yeah, and it certainly, if anything, Jackimus probably not assuming that he has as large of a lead as he does right now.
Please, everybody in chat, do not click that link. We are looking to have a mod take care of that now. And Jackimus has returned to Garenham, restocking on herbs. And I do think we're going to see Jackimus continue his exploration to the northwest.
Jackimus encountering a green dragon that doesn't hit super hard immediately upon exiting Garenham and choosing to go toe-to-toe with it. Looks like he's going to have a good chance to take this thing down here. We'll have to see whether or not it gives any good experience. Oh, Kaishin no Ichigeki, that's almost certainly going to do it. And yes, it does. And 232 experience is nothing to sneeze at, folks.
Yet another EXP pinata. Oh, and we have a cave. We have the Staff of Rain cave directly east of Cantlin. So quite a nice little cluster of towns and caves, not very far away from the castle. And will we see Toaster makes it?
Toaster finally makes it to a town. Unfortunately, he has no gold here. He is going to check the weapon shops and find himself very disappointed here. A flame sword yet to be sighted in this seed.
Indeed, but he's going to see this copper sword here for not too steep of a price, and he might have his goal set. He has reached Cantlin. He has found the second best weapon that money can buy. All he needs to do is make it there.
Accidentally forgetting to erase the file there, starts his capital Z file and then switching back to his lowercase f. Jackimus going toe-to-toe with a skeleton and finding out that they only give 13 experience, but do have quite a bit of money hiding inside those bones there.
So while Jackimus has a definitive exploration lead and borderlining a 3,000 EXP lead, if Toaster can manage to get up to Cantlin without too much more time loss and score himself the broadsword, we could see him bridge that gap quite quickly, as he will have a significantly better weapon than Jackimus, and only is going to take a few kills to start to get this rolling.
It's true. If he will have enough money to pick himself up that sword and a few herbs, and yeah, basically come back to start and try to do the same thing Jackimus did. I mean, it'll be a whole new game once he gets himself a better weapon, as Jackimus does fall to this night and will be going back to starts.
Yeah, as Tie-Dye Guy notes in chat, with the crazy EXP gains, with one monster outside of Tantagel awarding less than 3 digits worth of EXP, and at that, it's still 97. And we saw only a few hundred EXP being good enough for level 6 or 7. Very, very quick ability to bounce straight back into this race if he can land that broadsword and a few herbs also available in Cantlin.
Unfortunately, Jackimus proving that so far, being a high level, no guarantee to making a lot of progress on the map. Unfortunately, that Heal More spell still hidden in the upper levels.
And there are no shortage of enemies with the Big Breath as we see the Warlock deliver it again. And this seed, a little bit more common to find hurt more than the Big Breath right now, as I believe it's only been Warlock with Big Breath. But I think there's 2 or 3 different enemies that have shown hurt more.
I want to say I've seen it from Drakimaz and Knights at this point. Yeah, a lot of hurt more going around. As Jackimus finding Charlock for himself and choosing to try to walk around and see what he can see on the other side.
He has actually been down here before. He knows that Sherlock is here, but right now he is interested in finding out what is beyond Sherlock. And will this be a dead end, or will this loop back around?
Looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to find out, as the Knight not only able to cast Hurt More, but still able to punch very, very hard in spite of the shield that Jackimus has.
Yeah, unfortunately, with no armor and the weakest shield in the game, even at level 12, to have any significant amount of defense available to you, you would have to have absolutely insane agility growth.
Well, with capital L, that is what he's hoping for.
And it looks like Jackimus is pretty set on finding out what lies beyond Sharlock as he is heading straight back here. And from what I saw earlier, Jackimus got quite a bit of exploration done to the northwest of Garenham, resulting in finding absolutely nothing but a trip back to the castle.
Rogue Scorpions, I believe, were one of the few things that Trista was able to kill in his seed just a few hours ago, but unfortunately it looks like they're a little bit harder to kill this time around. And Jackimus finding himself some open plains and might actually be able to get a little bit of exploration done here in this area where encounters are going to hopefully be few and far between compared to the starts. And unfortunately, once again, basically finding a whole lot of nothing down here. Ghost, as I believe we've seen before, does give quite a bit of experience, but unfortunately, with its low strength, also can opt to run away.
And did Jackimus find that this is just a dead end down here?
Yeah, it was a dead end down to the south. Not quite sure if this beach here down to the south is also a dead end, but yes, the area that he had just left, there was nothing down there.
Just a long, winding road to nowhere.
Yeah, nice, big, beautiful plains, but unfortunately nothing of value hiding inside. E-Tap with the jokes in chat. I like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't going to look too terribly different from what you guys joining us now from Randomania 2 just witnessed with It's Too Early versus Tristal MTG. I know I want to say I saw like a 6,000 EXP lead on that before hopping over to do this race, and we are shaping up to head towards that direction as Jackin is finding a long sandy beach to absolutely nowhere.
He was able to take down a, I believe, I forgot what the name of that was. He took down something. I forgot the name of it, but it was worth a good 232 experience. So yet another big EXP monster hiding down there. Thank you, Duncan Thrax, confirming it was a Druin Lord. Druin Lord, our third 200-plus monster of the seed.
Yep, this seed showing that there is no lack of EXP to be found, but merely the difficulty is finding the means to acquire it. Toaster knows exactly where those means are now, and merely needs to get one solid string of encounters and run attempts to get over to Cantlin and buy that copper or broadsword. So to recap, for anyone who was not with us...
He did it! AmazingToaster did it! He made it to the town!
Right. So Toaster beelining for that broadsword, and we are about to see if this race is going to open wide up, because we are still sub 4,000 EXP lead for Jackimus, and there were a couple large levels going from, I believe, 8 to 9 and 12 to 13. Jackimus Almost 4,000 EXP. Level 12. Still no heal. Still no hurt. Still no level 2 versions of either of those spells. So this seed is anything but over. But to recap for those joining us from Randomania 2, we had the Silver Harp in the throne room along with a pair of wings that gave access to the basement, which is the jerk, and then via a reset, the treasury, which had a pair of torches, the stones of sunlight, and one big bucks chest. Jackimus managed to make it here to Garenham earlier in the seed, bought the small shield, the dragon scale, a complement of herbs, used those in order to acquire a kill on a Magidraki that immediately launched him to level 3 and got his seed rolling for him. And Toaster now managing to find Caitlin with no gold, get up here again with gold, get a much better weapon now in that broadsword, a little bit less on the defensive gear, but as we saw, there are a couple monsters hitting not terribly hard by start that he may be able to chew through now with that weapon and herbs and get his race going.
Yeah, for those of you in chat looking for AmazingToaster to start this comeback, the thing he's going to want to look for is a Magidraki, as unfortunately wandering a little bit away from town here, his meal ticket is going to be in that forest just south of Tantagel.
Indeed. Granted, an hour in, you just now have a weapon and you're still on 0 EXP. You know where a couple towns and a couple caves are, but you have to be feeling behind. This gold man, if he can manage to get through this, which I don't think he will be able to with the combination of sleep and hurt, these were worth a very, very respectable amount of EXP, over 200, and they don't have a terribly large amount of HP, and he already hits for 8. But it's going to require a lot of luck to take down a gold man right now.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably going to take a critical hit at least. But with that copper sword, it is potential. The potential exists for him to do that and start the road to come back.
And as Tie-Dye Guy asked in chat, you just got your answer there. He did indeed forget to equip the scale and now has. And we see the magician from earlier, which was the softest hitting enemy, but had quite the boatload of health. And Jackimus finds Remolder. This is huge, as there was no good setup to actually maintain keys in the early game. But Jackimus now will have more than plentiful access to them. And what will be interesting to see is when Jackimus eventually makes it back to Caitlin, or if he checks here, will we finally spot that flame sword? Oh, and the death necklace!
Oh, an AmazingToaster finally getting his first kill. 161 experience. Did not quite see what it was that he took down. I'm thinking maybe it was a Drakemaw. Not quite sure. Either way, this seed finally open for AmazingToaster.
But not to be outdone by that, Jackimus has spotted the flame sword for less than 300 gold in Remolder and picked himself up a large shield for just 16. So Jackimus about to get a very large gear upgrade to go with that death necklace he just found in Remolder, as Toaster is about to get the wheels in motion as his seed is about to take off.
Jackimus finding himself some green dragons and choosing to stick around Remolder for a short time and grind those out.
Yeah, they are worth quite a bit of EXP. Very, very little gold. First C624 asking what the Death Necklace is for. Z-Man noting in chat. Normally in vanilla, it would just curse you if you put it on, but in Randomizer, it has additional functionality that when you put it on, you get a plus 10 attack power boost at the cost of 25% of your max HP. You will generally only see it equipped for the Dragon Lord 2 fight if a runner has a abundance of HP and wants that 10 extra AP to get through the fight. Because if you die while cursed, you will be kicked out of the castle when you come back with 1 health, and will need to find Breckenary to remove the curse in order to get yourself back to status quo.
Yeah, that Death Necklace can sometimes make the difference between being able and not being able to take down the Dragon Lord. However, our runners are going to want about, I want to say, at least 130 max HP before the Death Necklace really becomes a viable option. So that's the number to look out for.
Indeed, and we have Jackimus, apparently level 13, held hurt more. So his ability to kill enemies just skyrocketed. And then he also acquired himself that flame sword. And yes, ETAP, you, even on Randomizer, you will be kicked out of the castle if you are cursed. With 1 HP. So, with keys and a boatload of levels underneath him, when Jackimus gets back to Cantlin, I expect to see a coordinates check. And it looks like Jackimus buying keys here rather than Remolder. I thought he stocked up in Remolder, but it seems like he might not have.
He didn't have the money. I think he only was able to buy 3 keys in Remolder.
Well, no, because he almost had enough money for the flame sword when he checked the shop. He was only like 30 shy. I think he might have just been restocking since he did burn. He just bought 3 and he burned 2 in Remolder for the Death Necklace, plus the 1 to get there, so he might have just been restocking.
Yeah, it's possible. If I were Jackimus, the first place I would be going is Garenham to check the 3 chests there as well as the basement, but he may also be going for Cantlin here.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are roughly about a screen and a half apart anyways, so you can, with his HP total now, it's very reasonable he's going to acquire both in the same trip.
As Jackimus obliterates a gold man, showing off their 187 experience here.
Alright, so we will see what is in Garenham basement and what is in the 3 Garenham chests. Big bucks. The fighter's ring. And a magic key. So no whammies, gets a nice little key refund, a +2 attack boost in the shape of the fighter's ring, and some gold. Might end up leading him to some armor at some point, hopefully. And the basement, we have... tablet?
I think this is... Oh, this is Swamp. Oh, interesting.
Oh, alright, we have Swamp North in Garenham. So, unfortunately, not the south. He can't just use his outside spell to skip the entire cave.
But Jackimus will be able to get a look at the opposite continent here. Players familiar with the previous versions of Randomizer may remember that the way the Randomizer was designed before, the Swamp Cave, generally speaking, would just put you in a random spot on another side of the map. But in this version of the Randomizer, they are separate continents now, as Jackimus walking in and finding himself the town of Breckenary. And yes, E-Tap and Z-Man noting Amazing Toaster had himself a little bit of bad luck over here, just missing out on a Drakey, but he did get a crit, managed to kill himself a Stone Man, and has picked up some more levels here, getting level 8 now and having about 5,000 experience behind Jackimus, but slowly and surely trying to make up that difference as best he can.
Yep, we're going to more than likely see Jackimus take a even larger lead in exploration, while Amazing Toaster hacks away at that EXP differential.
And as we have no idea what horrors await us in Sharlock, nothing to be decided yet.
Up to NG, I believe. I don't remember what his name's supposed to stand for, but up to NG, pointing out that there's a slow gold grind available with the key in Garenham. There is additionally a gold grind available in Tantagel, as it had a big bucks chest, so both runners will have the option of going for that gold grind if they want to.
Yeah, with the Silver Shield sitting in Cantlin at about 4,000 gold, that wouldn't be the worst idea.
And Jackimus has found the mountain cave.
Mountain Cave gonna have 5 chests for Jackimus here. Jackimus still looking for the Erdrick's token and the Erdrick's sword, either of which could be here.
Alright, so first floor chest, we got big bucks. And Tie-Dye Guy posting the link. Please, everybody go and follow the runners, Amazing Toaster and Jackimus.
High Spirits noting that of the 11 races we've had in the first round, virtually all of them have had the sword in Sharlock, but don't count your chickens before they hatch, folks. We still got a few more chests to go.
Yeah, there has been a resounding percentage that have found their way into Sharlock. A little frustrating.
Including a vanilla sword chest seed, I believe, on Sunday night.
I believe you are correct. And just a pair of herbs to go with the other not-so-notable finds in the mountain cave. High Spirits with the Z1 randomizer reference. Sharlock is level 9. Sometimes I actually wonder if Sharlock is level 10 and always has the best weapon. And just in a matter of minutes while Jackimus was in Mountain Cave, Toaster has doubled his EXP and is now still 5,000 gold behind, but the percentage gold difference is quickly shrinking.
As Jackimus spots himself another cave here on this giant coastline. Got to get through a ghost here, but we'll be figuring out what this is shortly. Jackimus never did find this cave here over by Bonus Cave, and on Amazing Toaster screen, we do find out that this is going to be the grave, so Amazing Toaster is going to be the first one to get a crack at 5 chests here. Unfortunately, does get sent back to start, but I imagine will be coming over here shortly.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see Toaster throw himself at this cave a couple times. And this could actually be huge if he manages to find either the token or the sword in this cave. And we have Tablet Cave for Jackimus.
Tablet Cave, no encounters, very short, a little windy, but one free chest waiting inside here.
Yeah, no. Z-Man noting, yeah, Toaster only will be able to find 3 chests in the grave.
That's right. Amazing Toaster not yet finding Remolder, so he will not have those keys that he needs to access the lower chest. But, unfortunately miscounting his HP and dying in the swamp. A little unfortunate oversight there.
What was found in Tablet?
Tablet was an herb, I believe.
There's nothing of value.
Yeah, nothing to write home about. Oh, gold. High Spirit's correcting me there.
Also, nothing to write home about. But yes, as he tapped mentioning, everything gives huge EXP in this seed. Only a couple enemies have not given triple digits. So, this EXP lead for Jackimus, not necessarily as secure as it might be in other seeds. And 14 brings the little heal into play.
So finally able to recover his HP without relying on herbs and make use of his magic power is Jackimus. High Spirits noting in chat, only 4 spells available at level 14. These players will unlock all of the spells at level 16. Any spell that they don't know by then will pop up, but unfortunately this seed pretty short on spells until that point.
Indeed. Players would love to have hurt more and heal more by this point. Arguably hurt more as low of a level as you can get, but we didn't even see it until level 13 this seed. And we see a little bit of a connection to the main continent there, I believe, on Jackimus's screen.
I believe that's what that was, and I think there might have been a town there. Jackimus turning around just before I could get a look at that plains area kind of to the southwest, but I think there might have been a town down there.
Yeah, I believe we have seen that town because I noticed that kind of corner earlier when Jackimus was exploring. So I don't think it's anything new. I believe it was just actually showing the point where the continents are indeed connecting to each other without access, however.
I believe with Jackimus clearing out the mountain cave, that pretty much only leaves the chests inside the grave to give us potential locations for the items that they need to finish. May also leave the map and coal for them to find as well.
That is indeed correct. We have no items located from any of the 3 search spots. Neither player has found coal, neither player has found Hawksness, and neither player has gone to Cantland for the coordinates. Though we may see... Oh, no, wait, right. Amazing Toaster is still lacking keys.
Yeah, Amazing Toaster lacking keys will not be able to make the trek to that old man just yet.
But if the sword is not in Sharlock, then it would be in the Grave of Garen.
Yes, there are 5 chests in Grave of Garenham, so a little bit less than 50% chance that it could be in the grave at this point.
And we have Jackimus reaching level 15. So while the climb from 10 to 13 was awful, 13 to 15 has not been too terribly bad. And we have Heal More and Repel.
I think Jackimus will be very pleased to have pretty much the most useful mid-game spells in the game at this point.
Indeed, Jackimus will be able to have some pretty peaceful exploration now that Repel is in play, and then also having the Hurt More or the Heal More for additional safety.
Jackimus opting to pick up some gold here so that he can go replenish his keys before taking off.
And up to NG pointing out, small gap to level 16 as well, so 10 to 13 is the big stretch for the seed. 13 to 16 going to be very, very quick for the runners.
Yeah, Jackimus is going to get pretty much, yeah, he's going to get it all in one shot here from this gold man. We'll have to see what the stats are. Oh, very nice. 13 power, 8 HP, 8 MP, and all of the spells, any spells that Jackimus did not have up to this point, he now has.
So the real question is, what are the stats looking like here at level 16? It was a decent climb to get there, as we are just shy of 10,000 EXP so far. Will 16 be enough to kill the Dragon Lord, or are we looking at another seed of possibly level 18 or so to kill the Dragon Lord?
Neither player has looked at their stat screen recently that I can imagine, so we may need a little bit of assistance here from Game Boy F9 or McGrew to let us know what their strength is currently at. Jackimus going and reminding himself what was hiding behind Garenham. Would imagine he's going to be heading back to Cantlin as well to check those coordinates, and he is going to potentially at some point... Oh, Jackimus making himself a slow gold grind play, wanting himself that silver shield, I imagine.
Yeah, that is what this looks like. The super ghetto gold grind. Going in and out of Garenham, since it does give you a refund key and a big bucks chest, you are effectively gaining those big bucks with every iteration. And Jackimus being sent back.
Oh no, all that money just gone like that, getting zapped by a max damage Dragon Lord fire. And level 17 requiring 3,000 experience. It'll be a while before we see the stat gains from that one.
Indeed, and we are going to see Jackimus immediately run his strategy back here. He will be going and grabbing the gold out of the treasury, making a beeline for Garenham, and redoing the gold grind to get up to that silver shield of 3.3 thousand, and then getting over the Cantlin, and hopefully also we're going to see the coordinates checked while he's there.
And while Jackimus is busy doing that, AmazingToaster took himself out a stone man and has learned that I'm assuming he's learned that the goldmen are also worth punching here. Has gotten himself almost to 3,000 experience here.
Indeed, Jackimus very focused on getting the silver shield, and then we very well might see him looking and digging up those coordinates, with possibly a play for the princess involved with that as well, depending on how awful those coordinates might end up being this run. And that will give AmazingToaster plenty of time to make up that EXP difference. As we have noted before, this seed is not shy on enemies, giving triple-digit EXP. And AK-47, not worth the 2 heal mores required to dispatch it, only giving 6 EXP and 23 gold.
Jackimus opting to pop in and right back out of Cantlin. Not really sure what it is he's going for now.
I'm wondering if he's not remembering where the gear is right now.
He is a little bit short of that silver shield. He may have given up on that particular play and is instead choosing to try to figure out. He must know the last place he hasn't cleared on the world map is indeed the Grave of Garenham. Also a couple towns to find, but that may be what he's choosing to look for now.
Yep, and if only he knew that he is so very close to it, with it being just about one screen to the east here.
Yeah, Jackimus, unfortunately, very, very close to that Grave of Garenham, but not going to find it just quite yet. AmazingToaster discovering the good news that, yes, indeed, Drakimar very squishy, and Jackimus does make that one little turn to the left and says, oh, wait, no, go back. There is a cave there that I have not explored. Goes immediately inside, and now we will find out if the sword is in here or in Sharlock.
And I believe when Toaster was in here earlier, we saw 0 of the chests. So we have a key, which ironically would have been amazing for the Amazing
And the
Toaster.
sword, we got it! Sword confirmed!
Grave.
AmazingToaster was so close.
If Toaster had just not gotten picked off, not only would he have gotten the sword, but he would have gotten a key that he could have either saved to get into the castle and get additional keys without needing to find Remolder, or could have elected to do a dive, knowing that even if he dives the Grave of Garen and fails, doesn't finish it, or doesn't find anything of value, he could at least pop in on that first floor and pick up another key later on, and then visit the Tantagial Key Shop. Such a narrow margin that Toaster missed here would have given him a huge boost in catching back up to Jackimus. Just slightly unfortunate in not being able to quite reach that top floor of chests.
Yeah, and Doffer at 16 noting that, yes, the pickup of this sword does give Jackimus a pretty commanding lead. Only 2 more chests to check, and really only one thing on Jackimus's mind here. Does one of these chests contain that token of Erdrick, the last required item he needs?
Indeed, we are pretty much down to wanting 2 items to finish this seed. Erdrick's token and Erdrick's armor. Both potentially in search locations at this point, as we are down to but 1 location chest-wise for that token to be, as it cannot be in Sharlock because it is required to get that rainbow drop to open Sharlock. So if we do not see the token in the bottom of the grave, then we are back on the menu looking for either the coordinates, coal, or Hawksness. Notable that neither player has seen coal or Hawksness yet, so that could still be an equalizer along with Sharlock itself.
Very true, as Jackimus is on the final floor here and opens up the chest to find a cursed belt. Not too
Sparkover's
useful.
favorite item.
it is true. Hey man, they sell for 180 gold. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Yep, so we are back into a position where coal and Hawksness are the big locations to find. If Toaster gets back to the Grave of Garenham and acquires that key, he will never need to find Remolder, because the only other thing of note in Remolder is that flame sword. The Death Necklace is there, but it is very, very possible that it won't even be needed to comfortably kill the Dragon Lord. Yeah, up to NG and Drossi discussing the second continent. We are not 100% sure if he full cleared it, but I would not be surprised if he did, because he was over there for quite some time and went a ways around that continent. So very possibly could be fully explored, as we see very generous coordinates.
8 leagues, I believe, to the north and 27
South.
east. Oh, 8 south, 27 east. That could be a little bit of a difficult count here, as
Yep.
Jackimus going to have to wrap around wrap around Sharlock potentially, or even maybe he's going to start east and go south and try to find it that way here.
It looks like it's tucked right in the bottom of this kind of swampy edge here. But did he know? Okay, hopefully he was counting how far north he also went. And there's
this count proving to be no problem whatsoever for Jackimus, as he quickly claims himself that armor, just leaving one of the other 2 search spots as the potential for that token, finding a small little narrow pass, and again immediately finding himself a town. This town is Cole. This town could have the token. We could be wrapping up the seed here very quickly.
And it does look like we are now on the denouement of the seed. Jackimus finding the token, Hawksness no longer required. We can just delete that one from the record books for this seed. Jerk is in Tantagel Basement. Jackimus already knows this. I don't believe Toaster does yet. He's going to go pay him a visit, acquire that rainbow drop, taking a nice look at his stats. 139 attack power. That is good for 10 to 19 damage, 9 to 19 damage. Probably going to want a little bit of attack power, but we are on the borderline of seeing some Dragon Lord action coming right up.
ETAP asking whether or not this is go mode. 9 to 19, average of about 10.5 with 10 heal mores is only going to get Jackimus about 100 damage here, so I think we're going to want to look for either a little bit more attack power or a little bit more MP here before making that final dive. But don't forget, Jackimus is in possession of the Death Necklace. HP a little bit short at 120, 130, again, the magic number before that's accounted for. Oh, Jackimus not at his max, actually.
Yeah, so let me run the math right now. He is at 112. That is a clean 14 heal mores with 14 average damage.
Oh, you're right. 14 heal mores, 14 average damage. That's going to be good for about 16 attacks. I don't know what the total is for those 2 numbers, but could be good enough.
If he only lands 14 attacks with his 14 heal mores with an average of 14, that's 196. So dangerously close to the upper edge of the Dragon Lord's HP, which can roll anywhere between 100 and 230.
It's true, and Jackimus going ahead and diving into Sharlock to see what he can find in here. Also, don't forget that 120 HP, good chance that Jackimus could get some double attacks here against the Dragon Lord, and the first enemy he finds is a red slime, which hits him for 1 damage and is easily ran away from.
Yep, and that is the kind of thing you want to see in Sharlock. Run chance in the vanilla was based on the enemy's index, and that is now changed in Randomizer, and it is now based on location instead. So that results in a much higher difficulty of running from enemies in Sharlock, and boy oh boy, we have seen 3 enemies in Sharlock, Red Slime, Metal Slime, and now this Wyvern, and both slimes look very, very easy to run from.
Wyvern not hitting very hard, but unfortunately really, really hard to get away from, or at least harder than the slimes that we saw previously. And, oh, throwing out that Dragon Lord 2 breath, gonna cost Jackimus a quick heal more here. Meanwhile, over on Amazing Toaster screen, he has cut into that experience lead only about 4,500 at this point.
Yep, and we see Jackimus attack the Wyvern for single-digit damage, and the Wyvern doesn't look shy about using the big bad breath. So this could be Toaster's gateway to catching up, because these Wyverns easily could just eat through plenty of time, making it near impossible to get down to the Dragon Lord with all of your MP.
Jackimus throwing out Hurtmore does manage to take down the Wyvern, unfortunately not trying Sleep first. Sleep probably, in my opinion, the most useful spell in Sharlock, as if you do get those high agility enemies you can't run away from, if they're susceptible to Sleep, then they become pushovers. But Jackimus not going that route just yet.
And Metal Slime showing that he has some chops in combat too, whacking away for 20 plus damage at a time. It's going to be rough. I think we might have saw the Hurtmore come out there because Jackimus already surrendered that run after losing the Healmores and just wanted to pick up the EXP. Might honestly be considering 17 as a real possibility with how the monsters in Sharlock are looking. If 17 happens to hold a generous HP or MP increase, then that could make the dive into Sharlock significantly easier.
Over on Amazing Toaster's side, he did make it back into the grave and has picked himself up a key and Erdrick sword, and it looks like he's heading right back out to get himself more keys with that free one.
Yep, I like this play. Since he is still lacking a little bit of survivability, if he was a bit safer on the way down, then I would probably prefer to see a full clear of the grave if possible, and then when you outside, you could just go straight back in to grab your key, and then head to the castle.
Although we know that nothing too important at the bottom of Garen's grave, so we'll have to see if Amazing Toaster decides to come back or opts to perhaps use his key in other locations. If he opts to go to Garenham, he'll find himself the Swamp Cave and another continent to explore.
Indeed. And as High Spirits notes in chat, Sharlock, the great equalizer.
Yes, Jackimus already encountering those wyverns once that would not let him pass easily, and another one we shall have to see if he tries Sleep again, as he does get away from that one in one try. Luck on Jackimus's side so far on his second dive attempt.
Yep, starting out against the Wyvern with a hero run, definitely not a bad option. Jackimus maybe forgetting that he has torches, or just very confident in Dark Sharlock?
Jackimus, yeah, definitely showing off his prowess here, being able to bonk around the dark floors of Sharlock.
And as we have noted, Jackimus arguably has the stats for the Dragon Lord if he can make it down there without losing too much of his MP. The average damage is awfully close to 200, not even factoring any doubles. So, very, very high percentage that if he can manage to get to the Dragon Lord with all that MP that he has, then we could be seeing a GG here.
And as we continue to watch Amazing Toaster build his, cut that experience gap and Jackimus continue to dive down towards that Dragon Lord. Just want to give a quick reminder, please, please, please go follow these two hardworking runners, Jackimus and AmazingToaster. Go ahead and check out the standings for the tournament if you want to. Or go ahead and download the randomizer for yourself. Feel free to join that Discord, as we are always looking for more people to come and race with us. Feel free to follow the commentators here, myself, Lavkian, and my co-host, AzraelRavenheart. Tracking is High Spirits, and Restream is the Tie-Dye Guy.
Yep, and we see Jackimus electing to give up on running and just punch his way through that Druin. That Druin, a better run blocker than most of the NFL. That is generally my way of handling Sherlock is, can I punch it? Can I just repeatedly punch it and not burn my MP and not waste time running, because it is just, even we see Jackimus with a strength agility seed, which is also my personal preference. And even with that extra agility, just running from Sherlock still being an absolute nightmare.
And one more reminder for our fine folks watching us here on Randomania 3. When this race is over, please do not change that channel, as we will be revealing our second round matchups immediately following this race.
And we have AmazingToaster doing one of those ghetto gold grinds, using the keys that he acquired in Tantagel to leave the castle and then return and raid that gold chest in the treasury once again. He has himself the gold for that silver shield.
And that's something that I don't think Jackimus ever bothered to do. So if Jackimus continues to have poor luck here in Sherlock, and if AmazingToaster does get himself that shield, it could make the difference. And we will have to see how this continues to unfold.
Indeed, that silver shield is in Cantlin as well. And if you're in Cantlin, you might as well check the coordinates. And if he does, he's going to find a nice, generous walk straight over to Erdrick's armor.
I would be checking that shop behind the key door as well. There could be a cheap flame sword waiting for him. Oh wait, no, he has the Erdrick sword.
He has Erdrick
He doesn't want that flame sword. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
If anything, he might find himself some armor. Maybe cheap, like, half plate or full plate. But, you know, little does he know that as soon as he gets these coordinates here, he's going to be walking straight to Erdrick's armor.
And he is going for those coordinates, so not too much he has to do to get himself that armor. And honestly, we know that the token is just waiting not too much further still over in Cole. I mean, AmazingToaster could potentially be in Sherlock within minutes here.
Yeah, possibly not, because he hasn't bridged the remainder of that EXP gap towards level 16. As we do know, it's not going to be a terribly long amount of time before Toaster shoots from 13 to 16. But it does look like 16 is quite achievable for a Dragon Lord kill. So, while Jackimus is technically increasing the EXP lead, only about 1,000 or so of that lead is actually relevant, because we saw 450 something EXP to get 14, and we know 15 and 16 aren't too far behind.
AmazingToaster just needing to go to be a bit of a clearing for him, only one tile wide. Just needs to continue south once he picks up that armor, and he's going to find himself just about everything else he needs here as Jackimus entering the final floor.
Yeah, notable is that AmazingToaster does not have the heal spell yet, because he hasn't reached level 14. So he is still just on herbs.
Jackimus doing everything he can to get away from this metal slime, and the metal slime putting up the hard red light. Amazing Toaster with no problem finding himself that armor.
Yep, and unfortunately he turns around. The key's on his mind. He is probably about to... Oh, maybe not. I thought he was about to go dive into the Grave of Garen for those last two, but he notices that this is not an area he has been before, and he is going to be on his way to Cole.
That's
just a
right.
little further.
He's going to do it, folks. And once he gets into Cole, he's going to find himself that token. And he doesn't know it yet, but this race just got a whole lot closer, folks.
If this is a nasty, sleep-wielding Dragon Lord, then this seed is anything but over. Barring Dragon Lord having 0 sleep or stop spell resist.
It's true. If I were Jackimus, to be perfectly frank here, if I'm Jackimus right now, I know that Dragon Lord 2 could have upwards of 230 HP, and so I would be just throwing out the stop spells immediately upon starting that Dragon Lord 2 fight. But we'll have to see if he can get away from this Druid first.
The only issue I have with him opening with a stop spell on the Dragon Lord is that if he is going for a legitimate kill attempt here, because he has lost 4 Healmore's worth of MP already, he's very liable to not have the damage if he ends up taking 1 or 2 hits throwing out those stop spells. It could very well be a catch-22.
If he lands that stop spell and it turns out to be heal, though, I think that's going to be his ticket. For me, if I'm Jackimus at this point, I don't want to particularly bank on 10 Healmores being enough. I would rather get that stop spell and let the stop spell get me free attacks. That's the strategy I would be looking at here, as he goes down to 9 Healmores.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the stop spell could land. Dragon Lord could just actually have nothing.
That I am not so sure of, but I'm sure someone in chat can correct me on that.
But it more than likely, especially losing the other Healmore right there, we are probably just going to see this be an information run. And I would imagine he can be stop spelled if he has anything, if he has nothing, simply because when the Dragon Lord stats are randomized, that should be when it randomizes the stop spell resist.
Jackimus dropping the Kaishin no Ichigaki on the boss metal slime, making short work of him, and holding B here, just mashing that B button, and officially is a fool. And we'll have to see how this Dragon Lord 1 fight goes.
Paper
Tiger. Jackimus with 11 attacks, starting out with 12. Hitting pretty close to his low end here, and not starting off with that early stop spell as I mentioned before. So we're going to have to see how much damage can Jackimus get before the Dragon Lord chooses to reveal a spell. I want to wager guess. I want to say we're at right around 60 damage, somewhere between 55 and 60. Dragon Lord 2 could have as little as 100 health here.
We are at 84 right now.
Alrighty, 84 damage in, and 3 Healmores left to go for Jackimus. Jackimus not particularly wanting to see that heal, but we'll have to see. If he does see that heal, he will know that he is pretty close to the end here as we crest 100 damage on this Dragon Lord 2.
And we do have heal.
Heal has been confirmed, and nothing but to try to punch through it on Jackimus's screen, getting those free attacks in, but not very fruitful, unfortunately. And unsuccessful is Jackimus, but armed with the knowledge that Dragon Lord 2 does have heal, I imagine he's just going to go right back in and try again. Although only 872 experience needed to the next level, he may try to grab that level for a little bit of extra MP before going back in.
So we had a total of 202 damage minus whatever the heal roll was. So we are very, very possibly looking at another 200 plus HP Dragon Lord. As monster heal, I believe, is like roundabouts 13 to 25.
Not sure what the monster heal can roll here, but we should remember that Dragon Lord is only going to heal when he's near death, and from Burgundy, counting up to 153 before the heal came out, so I believe it shouldn't be too much higher than that before Jackimus is able to make the kill.
Monster is 20 to 27.
Oof.
So 202 damage. So effectively somewhere between 175 and 182 damage was dealt. So very possibly looking at a 200 plus HP Dragon Lord here.
AmazingToaster going to go ahead and put down that rainbow drop, did get himself level 15. And unfortunately, out of MP here to make a very effective dive. Yeah, just going to opt to return back to Tantagel and start that walk over.
Jackimus getting the level, but getting 1 power, 0 HP, and 1 MP.
Oh my. Someone in chat is loving that level.
Yep, somebody call Empty Eye. So yeah, I think we're now looking at stop spell resistance here, because that level is not going to make too much of a difference in Jackimus's damage. Though if he gets down there, that death necklace might be very tempting, as if he cannot land a stop spell, his damage did not look good enough to bash through a heal spam at all. Does look like it might be lower chance to actually see heal, but you know heal is more than your attack roll every single time that it happens, so you're really not going to want to see that or deal with it.
Frustration possibly coming through for Jackimus, as he did opt to continue to run from the Wyvern instead of use any sort of magic on it, not wanting to risk using up any of his heal mores there.
Indeed, and that is going to give Toaster even more ability to come back in here, as he is probably on the precipice of level 16, and level 16 pretty much is go mode, as 17 took a while and didn't really give anything.
And unfortunately, I missed experience needed for 18. Not sure if that's close for Jackimus or not here, as he is just going to continue to walk into Charlock and see what he can get done.
If nobody in chat caught the EXP for 18, I will keep a extra close eye out if Jackimus happens to take another trip back to the castle.
High spirits, it's okay. We all forgive you. Just never roll another seed again.
At least not one that I'm involved in, please. Though, I don't remember who rolled mine.
Amarlian noting about 3,000 experience to the next level. So going to be a while here before we see either of our runners get to that point, as Jackimus sent back again by this wyvern and its nasty, nasty, nasty flame breath. And yes, confirmed 3,024 experience for level 17. And now with Amazing Toaster reaching level 16, and we know, even though there is a 3,000 experience point gap between our players, level 17 not going to do much here. So this is officially anybody's race. Hold tight.
Indeed, and I start to wonder after seeing how awful 17 was, but also for Jackimus, knowing how awful that Dragon Lord fight is, coupled with also knowing that you aren't in too comfortable of a position to put that death necklace on yet. Do you grind around castle for level 18 here? I mean, 3,000's not that much when most things give you borderline 200. We are late into the seed, though, and with how awkward this seed has been, you don't know where you are comparative to your opponent. For Jackimus, you can't feel too terribly bad, though, because you did get off the ground pretty decently.
It's true. If I were Jackimus, if I were thinking about grinding for 18, it would have to be on a spike tile. I wouldn't want to be counting on random encounters just around Tantagel to get me that next level. You never know exactly how long that's going to take, and during that time, you can basically complete a dive with average luck. So Jackimus just continuing to roll the dice here in Charlock.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't know what... Hawksness is non-existent, and then Swamp Cave, we don't know what's in there, so the only spike tile is the one here in Charlock.
And that unfortunately had a metal slime, which isn't worth very much.
Indeed, so I think the best play, if you do want that level, probably is outside of the castle. You're going to have healing right there, you're not going to lose time if you die, and, it's pretty reasonable EXP gain there.
Daffer and High Spirits noting in chat that there is a slight difference between our runners, and that Amazing Toaster does have the Silver Shield, which is going to reduce the average damage the Dragon Lord does to him compared to Jackimus. However, Jackimus having the Death Necklace and Amazing Toaster not having it, should Jackimus choose to use that. Although, with 120 max HP, would not be the safest play for him.
Indeed, and as High Spirits noted, Toaster doesn't have the Fighter's Ring. He never went through Swamp. He hasn't checked the back of Garenham. After he managed to get into the grave, and then get his keys and start going from there, everything unfolded extremely quickly. And we actually have a seed where half of everything in the game was completely optional. Remolder wasn't necessary, Swamp didn't need to be found, there was nothing on the second continent. So Toaster is going to just always have less damage capacity for output than Jackimus will, because Jackimus has that Fighter's Ring.
Amazing Toaster getting sent back to start, getting the unfortunate news that level 16 is likely to be the level that he will be finishing at, with about 2,600 experience needed to the next level. And the Armored Knight opting to run away from Jackimus.
And Duncan, the princess isn't too much the poor princess that rots away in the cave yet again, because it is pretty common to actually see her get rescued in Chaos Seeds. If not for the coordinates, then at least for the ability to check your EXP when you're out and about and find out. And, for instance, in Jackimus's case, when he got that disappointing level right in front of Charlock, he could have at least checked to get the bad news that he needed another several thousand EXP for another level, but at least you'd know that before you died.
Up to NG dropping some statistics for us in chat. Unfortunately, yes, there's a low chance, a very, very low chance of Dragon Lord 2 having about a 0 stop spell resistance, which means it would land every single time. About a 25% chance of his resistance being 15-16, which means there would be a 1 in 16 chance of actually landing the stop spell, and then about a 25% chance for several ranges there within.
Indeed. You know, you're not really going to know until you get down there and just start chucking stop spells at the Dragon Lord. And DeFerret asking if Repel has any effect on Sherlock, and nope. As I found earlier in the week, thankfully before my race, Repel does not have any effect outside of the overworld, so I was always in my practice seeds repelling in caves thinking that it did something, but was good to know to not waste that time anymore.
And Jackimus has, for the second time, made it down to the Dragon Lord's floor, having a very nice walk here, up until he runs into this Scorpion, but grounding that third corner very quickly, hoping to get back into that Dragon Lord fight.
Notable, though, is that he is down to 11 stop spells, and this Rogue Scorpion with Sleep and Hurt More. Not really what you want to be dealing with when you're down to 11 heal mores on the Dragon Lord floor.
As we have crossed the 2-hour mark in this particular seed, both players in Sherlock, both players finding a difficult time, neither player aware of just how many times they have high-fived each other in the virtual sense. Just trying to make the last few moves that they need in order to finish the seed.
And we see Wyverns looking like they got some kind of spell or sleep resist here. 2 failed sleeps in a row before landing the third one.
Jackimus, wanting this to just be over, takes a few steps and immediately talks to the Dragon Lord, gets called a fool, knows he's a paper tiger, takes him out with a 29. That must be the lowest health I've ever seen on that Dragon Lord 1. And immediately...
Stop spells. I mean, I don't even think you swing here until you've landed the stop spell.
And he did it!
Wow, only 2 attempts. It is going to cost him a pair of heal mores, though. Will he have enough damage to get there? We're going to have to wait to see once the Dragon Lord's HP starts to dwindle. How common is the heal spell? Because every one of those turns where the Dragon Lord's casting heal is going to be a free swing for Jackimus.
Unfortunately, the only 2 hits I've seen so far have rolled really low for Jackimus. I believe a 13, 12, and 10 so far. Really wanting to see the higher teens of damage here as his heal more count does dwindle lower and lower.
Yeah, I believe we've seen 5 swings and none have topped 13 yet. And his damage range should be roundabouts like 10 to 20, I think. The +1 power might have bumped him up to 10 to 20 now.
Yes,
Indeed.
That 20 does come out finally for Jackimus.
And we're going to need to see a few more of them, coupled with Dragon Lord wasting some time healing in order to actually succeed this fight.
Oh, and a triple attack coming out for Jackimus here. Sorry, a double attack. He really, really needed that. Could be seeing those heals come out fairly soon here.
Yep, we are down to just 1 more heal more after this one. Dragon Lord still not relaxing to cast those heal spells. Not sure what the damage count is, but we are getting real close to the edge here.
Another double attack for Jackimus. That high defense paying off here, and the heal comes out.
Yep. Unfortunately, the turn that Jackimus has to stop for the heal more is when we see Dragon Lord also chant his heal spell.
Jackimus could do it here. Any attack from this point on as the Dragon Lord continues to spam heal. It's all coming down to this, and he's done it!
And there it is. So that stop spell landing was all we needed, because it does look like the Dragon Lord had a reasonable chance of casting the heal spell, giving Jackimus plenty of extra time to swing away.
And everyone, please break out your GGs as Jackimus has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 28 seconds.
Indeed, GG's. This was a rough seed.
All right, I went ahead and extended an invitation to Jackimus to join us for a little bit of chit-chat, as on Amazing Toaster side, we do see him also making that rounding that third corner, still yet to make his own attempt at the Dragon Lord. And
Farron pointing out that final 15 puts us up to 207, so we have a HP range of 193 to 207. One beefy Dragon Lord.
And Amazing Toaster, while he is rounding that final corner, unfortunately down to 29 MPs, so odds of him taking on this Dragon Lord very, very slim, unfortunately.
Yeah, this would most likely be an information run, and unfortunately enough, I don't think he's going to have the heal mores to actually get enough damage out to see that heal spell. As we see the Kaishin, no, I dropped my sword against the metal slime.
Very unfortunate there, but he does manage to pull it off. Amazing Toaster bravely stepping up here to fight this Dragon Lord 1. Gonna find out that he is indeed very, very much a pushover here.
But alas, going for the stop spell right away. Might just want to see if it's a really low stop spell resist. If it's stuck early on the first shot, just to know for next time, just to throw it out. Little does he know that throwing it out is actually the correct option.
And with that badunk, I do believe we have Jackimus here in chat with us. Jackimus, congratulations on your win. How do you feel?
Relieved, I guess. It was a little frustrating at the end.
Yeah, just a little bit. Why don't you tell us about your thoughts going through that awful Charlock?
I don't know. There were times where it just felt like Chaos Mode's been tweaked to just have battles that you randomly can't escape is kind of what it felt like a couple of times there. Like I remember the Blue Dragons I ran from no problem earlier on in the seed, but as soon as I started finding them in Charlock, they were impossible to get away from for one there. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and those metal slimes and wyverns also proving to be really difficult to get away from. One thing I was noticing on my end, not sure if I missed this, did the wyverns have high sleep resistance as well?
Oh, I don't know. I never cast sleep that race.
Oh, I see.
We did actually see that on Amazing Toaster's side. It took 3 attempts to get a sleep to stick against the wyvern.
High Spirits noting in chat that it was in fact tweaked so that Charlock enemies have no agility penalty in terms of run chance. So yeah, it has been changed so that Charlock enemies in general will be harder to run away from.
That seems more like a frustration feature than anything, if you ask me, but I guess that's what we're running for now, so we'll make do.
Yeah, I think I saw McGrew mention it in the Discord that he changed the run percentages to be based on enemy location rather than having the weird, like, run blocking bonus or whatever based on the index of the enemy, and that was pretty much to make it so that way if there's low agility enemies in Sharlock, the Sharlock dive is just not free, since every stat on the enemy is fully randomized.
Makes sense in theory, but when you have enemies that you're hitting single numbers on, like that late in the game, they're, going to be impossible to run from.
Yep, I definitely agree with you there. My strategy for Sharlock and Chaos has recently changed to just kind of whacking everything with this sword on the way down, unless it's taking no damage and dealing too much damage for me to want to waste my time on, and then I have to try to gamble the run anyhow.
I'm personally favoring the sleep attempts when I'm in Sharlock, but everyone has their own strategy there.
Yeah, fair enough. Out of curiosity, how long did it take Toaster to get his first kill?
He got his first kill at 1 hour and 3 minutes. It was a real tough one for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had not gotten out to any of the towns with the starting gold from the treasury. What actually got you the lead and ultimately the win here was greatly attributed to the fact that you made it to Garenham and picked up the small shield, the dragon scale, and a complement of herbs that allowed you to punch your way through a Magidrake and get that first kill. And unfortunately for him, it was significantly longer before he managed to make it over to one of those towns with gold. He did end up having the gold, though, to get the broadsword and herbs and such from Cantlin when he did finally get over there.
Yeah, he was able to pick himself up a sword and some herbs and finally took down a Dracumod about an hour and 3 minutes in. As compared to your about half an hour kill on the Magidrake. But for both of you, finding out once you got that first kill, I mean, there was a lot of stuff right around Tantagel that gave a lot of experience. So getting that first kill was difficult, but everything kind of ran pretty smoothly from that point on. AmazingToaster basically just had the luck of exploration. He actually never went to the opposite continent. He went and got himself coordinates. He had found the grave a little bit earlier, just to the east there, and went back in there, got the sword, got the whatever else was in there, and found coal, got the token, got that all wrapped up within about, I'd say about 20 minutes of hitting level 10.
Right on, right on.
Yeah, it was really, really close. I would say, I think it was as you were starting your third dive or so, that's when AmazingToaster put it all together, and you guys were just putting it up in Sharlock. I mean, you guys were neck and neck. AmazingToaster still has yet to make it to Dragonlord 2, so he doesn't know about the heal. But aside from that, I mean, it got close there towards the end.
Yeah, actually, my plan going into these races is to basically open with the stop spell on Dragonlord 2, but my first try there, I burned through a lot of magic on the way down, so I thought I'd slug it out and cross my fingers that he wasn't going to start healing himself.
Yeah, I was wondering actually about that, because with 80 MP, I guess my play would have been to open up with Stop Spell to see if it landed, and then hope that the extra turns would make up for the lack of MP there.
You're basically gambling on him having sleep at that point, so he's wasting turns throughout the fight. He won't waste turns on heal until you've basically won anyway, so...
Yeah, a solid argument there. So yeah, as High Spirits has mentioned, we will wait for AmazingToaster to finish up. Unfortunately, he is grinding down that experience to level 17, perhaps thinking that you got that level and it made it easy, but pretty shortly here, he's going to get the bad news.
Oh, I didn't even deliberately get level 17, it just kind of happened.
No, we're aware of that. I don't think AmazingToaster is aware. As he is going to ding level 17 here, and he is going to get the news that unfortunately it really just comes with nothing.
Jackimus, how did you feel getting... You flew through the early levels once you started getting some EXP, got a giant slowdown getting up towards, I believe, 10 to 13 took quite a while. And that whole time, you really weren't gaining any kind of spells as you were leveling either. How did you feel balancing exploration while you were leveling with very little magic resource to kind of utilize?
Just bought a lot of herbs to keep myself alive there. Like once you get your first level under your belt in Chaos, you're probably fine to level up as you explore, is kind of my philosophy there. So I never deliberately grinded anywhere once I got my first kill. If it looked like it was, that's probably because I just kept dying trying to get somewhere. There were a few nasty enemies on the overworld. Those warlocks were not my friends.
No, those warlocks, there were a lot of back attack Dragonlord breaths going on there in the early goings. Fortunately, not a lot of Dragonlord breath in the middle part of the seed, but then showing back up again towards the end there. A lot of Hurtmore showing up, though.
Yeah, it looked like we only had the Wyvern and the Warlock that have big breath. And there's at least 3 enemies with Hurtmore.
And AmazingToaster has decided to cancel his grind attempt, saw the pretty obnoxious experience required to get to level 18, and is back in Sharlock to make another attempt.
Right on. Well, good luck to Toaster finishing up here.
Alrighty, well, congratulations, Jackimus. Thank you for spending some time with us, and good luck on your next race.
Thank you. Have a good night.
And yeah, with that as a reminder, Jackimus will be moving on to 1 and 0, and AmazingToaster will be catching his first L here, but not out yet. No one is out at this point, because again, we are running that Swiss-style tournament. We are going to do our best here to make sure that the 1-0s are matched up with 1-0s, and the 0-1s are matched up with 0-1s. However, as we do have 22 racers, unfortunately, that is 11 matchups, so we will have one 0-1 and one 1-0 going up against each other. And again, those matchups will be revealed immediately following AmazingToaster's finish, so please stay tuned.
And we see the Wyverns pretty much the gatekeepers of Sharlock here.
Yeah, completely giving up on trying to kill the Wyvern, giving up on trying to sleep the Wyvern. The only option left is to try and run from the Wyvern and hope to get that favorable agility roll, as he does indeed get it.
Yep, from Jackimus's run earlier, attacks on the Wyverns were doing single-digit damage and not killing in 1 or 2 hits, so probably not too reliable to just punch your way through the Wyvern, and they are remarkably annoying.
AmazingToaster did find out that sleep is particularly effective against the Magic Wyvern, so as long as he finds this flavor of flying jerk bird, he will be able to get away from that with little problem.
Yeah, the only problem is he's going to burn through his HP real quickly. And little does he know, that we have a bulky Dragon Lord 2 with heal. So, not going to be too much fun once he gets down there and finds out with the current amount of MP he has. Will be interesting to see if Toaster fails another dive, if he considers going to 18 with how much EXP is concentrated around the castle.
Who is smacking on commentator duty?
Can there only be one fighter's ring?
Yeah, there's only one fighter's ring. There's going to be nothing of value for Amazing Toaster in the treasury. Probably just a bunch of gold and maybe a couple keys or something.
Yeah. I wasn't sure because dragon scales can show up in chests now.
There might be a dragon scale in there, but yeah, there's only one fighter's ring. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
But we will not see the treasury checked on this day.
Nope, not particularly likely, as we do see Amazing Toaster rounding the first corner of the final floor. With only 7 heal mores at his disposal, going to need quite the double hit and damage roll luck in order to be successful on this attempt.
Yeah, I can't really see any route to victory here for this run based on how much MP he's lost, unless Stop Spell sticks on turn 1. And then he can just smack his way through and manage to get the Dragon Lord down to heal territory, where he can start picking up some free hits to make up for the lack of MP.
He would basically need high damage rolls and multiple double attacks, as we did see, I believe, in Jackimus's final attempt. I think he got about 3 double attacks out of his 120 HP. That's basically what Amazing Toaster would need to win with his current totals.
Yeah, and that's on top of the Stop Spell sticking quickly enough to not cost you additional heal mores, as we see him lose another 2 in just the last minute or so. In 2 encounters, 2 more heal mores are gone.
Making a quick run as he rounds that third corner and clean into the Metal Slime mini-boss here.
I'm guessing that he's out of herbs at this point, based on how he's been spending his MP on heal mores. No, he's just been very stingy with them on the way down, opting to burn his MP instead of herbs.
Interesting play here. Gets himself to max, only to run into another Metal Slime here. Oh, and a Kaisha no Ichigeki makes quick work of that Metal Slime. Gets a pretty decent herb roll here, opts to use another right before talking to this Dragon Lord. And with, I believe, 4 heal mores here, 4, maybe 5 heal mores here. Again, going to be a little bit tough here to take this Dragon Lord 2 down, but he is going to make the efforts.
And he's opting to not even throw out the stop spell on turn 1. Oh, you know what? I think I know why he didn't throw out the stop spell. He has exactly enough MP for 5 heal mores and then a hurt more. I think we're going to see some YOLO hurt more strats once the fight is on its last vestiges.
That's some quick math here. 1 in 16 chance of landing that hurt more, but could make for quite the amazing finish. Would need potentially at least 1 double attack here, sitting on 2 more heal mores.
Yeah, either way, all the routes lead to a fairly low probability here, but definitely setting himself up for what is probably the best chance that he does have.
And here we go, folks. Oh no! He does just choose to punch through, not using that hurt more, was not doing the quick math here, and does fall to the Dragon Lord.
He might have been watching the Dragon Lord's attack rolls and thinking that he might have been able to squeak 1 extra attack out should the Dragon Lord have swung and low rolled, but unfortunately we don't see that be the case. And it looks like he's going to be heading over to one of the towns to restock on herbs now.
It is possible, yeah. The Dragon Lord, I think we saw on Jackimus's screen, hit for as low as 29, and for AmazingToaster, potentially even lower with that silver shield. Yeah, he may indeed have been looking for that low roll before throwing out the hurt more.
Yeah, I think if you're in that position though, you throw the hurt more first, and then you get the swing on the turn after. In the event that you do get bopped and survive. Just a little bit of suboptimal sequencing there, I think, but nothing terribly major. He was definitely in trouble to start that fight with so little MP remaining from the dive. And please, everyone, do us a favor. Follow Jackimus for putting on an amazing run to take the victory tonight. But also, please give AmazingToaster a follow. Hanging in there through such an awful early part of the seed. Not getting his first kill until an hour. And then even now, his opponent has finished, but he is bound and determined to kill the Dragon Lord during this race. So hanging in there, please go and give him a follow for just trooping through it and hanging in there.
Yeah, much props to AmazingToaster for his display of tenacity here.
And then don't forget to follow my commentary partner tonight, Lavkian, along with our tracker High Spirits and our restreamers, the Tie-Dye Guy.
If ever you feel yourself in the mood for some more Dragon Warrior action, whether it be Randomizer or Vanilla, you absolutely cannot go wrong with High Spirits or the Tie-Dye Guy or AzraelRavenheart's channels, for sure. And once more, if you ever want to take a peek at those Chaos Tournament standings, just click that challenge link in the chat. If you want to take a peek at the schedule, go ahead and click the tiny URL. If you want to join in the fun and check out the Randomizer, link for that and the Discord in chat as well. And yes, as Norestra demonstrates the YouTube command, please go ahead and check out this YouTube link to go ahead and relive past broadcasts of stuff that's been shown here on the Randomania Network, as well as following us on Twitter to get updates on upcoming races.
And don't forget that starting on Friday, March 23rd, we have the Randomania Marathon 2018, which is going to be several days worth of all the randomizer action that you can handle, including randomizers you might not have even known existed, such as Chrono Trigger, Phantasy Star 4, and the 7th Saga.
Wow. Chrono Trigger? That's a thing.
Indeed, Chrono Trigger run will be roundabouts 11:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, March 28th, as a matter of fact. And Norestra putting up the link to the marathon there, the hararo.org link. Go and click that and get yourself prepared for days worth of amazing randomizer action coming up here in just a few weeks.
AmazingToaster finding himself almost through this second floor here. Does manage to get away clean from the metal slime. He's going to get down to the third floor here, which is pretty short. Finds himself a Magiwyvern and hasn't had too much trouble with these yet. See if we can... Oh, he's going to opt to put it to sleep. Does have 3 spare MP. Is going to get away clean from the Magiwyvern, but right into an Armored Knight. And no problem there.
Yeah, and this is the part of Sharlock I absolutely abhor. Going step to step with back-to-back encounters.
Yeah, 3 encounters and 4 steps there.
Indeed. I play a little more aggressively. I try to save every ounce of MP I can. So if I'm only missing roundabouts 20 or 30 HP, I usually want to try to walk that off with the Erdrick's Armor healing you for 1 health per step. Just to conserve herbs as much as possible along with your heal mores. And when you get those like chain encounters, you know, 1 every step for 3 steps, or like 4 encounters in like 7 steps, it's just the worst feeling, because if you're not getting away from them quickly, you know, you're worrying about burning herbs that you don't want to burn yet, or burning heal mores that you're trying to conserve, and it's just feels terrible when you already know that Sharlock is hard and you have no clue what's usually coming for you in the Dragon Lord 2 fight.
Yeah, and also, I mean, not even just the resources, but just time. I mean, when you get those back-to-back fights really, really quickly and just spend a lot of time in each fight, you know, you're spending like a minute or 2 per floor. You're wondering what your opponent's up to that entire time. It really can eat away at the morale. But AmazingToaster showing no signs of quit, as he does get himself a Kaisha no Ichigaki to dispatch the Rogue Scorpion and make his way down to the floor right before the final floor.
Yep, and we do see him opting to fight his way through the encounters that don't prove too time-consuming to kill or too threatening to his life or his health or MP total. And I definitely feel like that might just be the best strategy right now for Chaos, because you don't know how many turns you're going to waste running, and every turn you fail to run is just HP or MP that you're going to end up losing. So, and you know, you pick up the EXP along the way, and it makes those 2,000-3,000 late game levels a little more tolerable, because if you do, you know, kill your way through some of the encounters and then you wipe on the Dragon Lord, suddenly you might be back to like 400 EXP to level, and then who knows, you might just pick up that level and it might break the seed wide open then for the Dragon Lord fight.
It's absolutely true, as AmazingToaster finding himself a pretty favorable final floor here, just getting blue dragons and rogue scorpions running away from him as he rounds this last corner here. Gonna get an encounter with a metal slime here, got away from it very clean. Blue dragon not going to prove too much of a problem here as he nears the mini-boss.
Indeed, blue dragons are going down in 2 to 3 hits, generally hitting him pretty softly. You can just walk that off. It's the metal slimes that are kind of the problem. They hit relatively hard still, and they prove to be one of the most difficult enemies to run from, possibly the most difficult on this floor. Oh, and a dodge by the metal slime. That's going to eat up a heal more here. And especially that dodge coming with one more hit left. Had he not gotten the dodge there, he would have actually been able to just use an herb afterwards and be fine. I don't think we have seen it. I believe when I saw it earlier, he had 137 and then he gained level 17, which would put him at 138. And based on Jackimus's fight at the end, with the only difference being the fighter's ring, 138 versus 140 looks to be correct for the attack power.
AmazingToaster starting out with a huge 19 followed by an 11. A couple of good rolls to the start here. Unfortunately, not having the knowledge of that heal, but with his 11 heal mores, he does have a shot at getting the Dragon Lord down to that heal point. It's just a matter of whether or not he can hit that stop spell and finish this up.
Yeah, I think after he gets down to heal and sees the first one, as long as he knows well enough that the monster heal is indeed as strong as the buffed heal that we currently have, heal in vanilla usually only does like 8 to 13 or whatever, but for Randomizer it is actually buffed to the monster level, and so if he actually knows that the monster heal is 20 to 27, and he knows this attack power, he's going to be very alarmed at the fact that he cannot punch through it at all, and he will need to immediately hit a stop spell after seeing the first heal to more than likely even have a chance at this fight.
Unfortunately, getting some very unfavorable rolls is AmazingToaster. I've seen at least 2 9s here. Starting off with the strong 19, but not getting much luck besides, and no double attacks so far.
Another 19, very nice.
Yeah, there's another 19 for him, but gonna need a little bit more to knock him into that heal range.
And now we get the info, and he might not actually know what the heal range is, and he's going to try to box his way through it.
Yeah, Toaster opting to try to punch through it here, hoping that the Dragon Lord opts not to heal. Not quite sure how much more damage he needs to do here.
Yeah, it takes about 2 attacks to break through the remnants of 1 heal. And then we see another heal here. That's not really good news. And
yeah, stop spell, unfortunately, not an option here. Only sitting on 1 MP.
Yeah, unfortunately, from here on out, he's basically going to need to never see another heal.
Oh, he did it!
Wow!
Whoa! With his last attack, he did it. He did manage to punch through the heals, and AmazingToaster's done it. I can't believe it.
Wow, what a nail biter. His very, very last attack before being sent straight back to Tantagel. And we have AmazingToaster finishing in second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 37 minutes, and 26 seconds.
Super clutch. Final roll there of 17, too. My goodness. AmazingToaster with a sense of humor there.
A sense of humor or possible breaking of the sanity, as we saw some in the Final Fantasy randomizer with some of the bad seeds.
And with that Badink, I do believe we have AmazingToaster in Discord with us. AmazingToaster, congrats on the finish, man. And with that Badink,
and if I unmuted myself, I could talk to you guys.
Toaster in Discord with us.
How you feeling, man? That was a moral victory more than anything. I feel like I played half that seed, really.
Yeah, that was a rough start, man. Taking about an hour to get your first kill, but having the tenacity to stick it out, man. Props to you. Good game, sir.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, definitely GG's for hanging through that awful seed, even through the awful ending there, finding out Dragon Lord indeed had heal, and you didn't even have like a great amount of MP there at the end either, but you managed to hang in there and give us a hell of a finish to that race.
It was either I killed him there or it was over.
So how did you feel about the early game of the seed?
It was just so dumb with the everything. You know, there's mountains there and there was swamp, and it took me forever to find that town, and then I got to it, or I tried getting there. I couldn't run, and it was just I kept getting killed by that stupid warlock. And then I was like, okay, try a different, try Z, and I couldn't run on Z, so I went back to F. If that were Hawksness, I probably would have just gave up right then and there when I walked in that town.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping that it was. But it turned out to be slightly more useful. I believe it was Jackimus finding Cantlin early on and picking himself up no, he found Garenham and had the money to pick up the shield and some herbs, and was able to take out a Magidraki using the herbs in about 30 minutes. That's what broke open the seed for him. But you actually had an advantage, a slight advantage, and once you broke open the seed about an hour in, you never went to the other continent, and you didn't need to. Everything was kind of waiting there for you. Once you found the armor and realized, oh, hey, I can go a little bit more south, you pretty much had everything you needed.
Yeah, and then I found the token and coal, and that was all I needed to get into the end game.
Yeah, I think Jackimus spent so much time on the second continent, which had a few towns and caves, but nothing required. I think the only thing he found that you didn't was the death necklace, although not quite hitting enough HP to make it useful. But basically the end result was that around an hour and 45 minutes, you guys were both in Sharlock, and it was anyone's race at that point.
Yeah, and I had terrible luck with the wyverns on like the first two. Well, the first dip was the wyverns, and then the second was with the metal slimes.
Yeah, the metal slimes, unfortunately, just proving way too much of a challenge to overcome, and neither of them very vulnerable to sleep, unfortunately. So just some giant hurdles for you to overcome, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we saw Jackimus get blocked by those wyverns a few times as well, too. Pretty much the true gatekeepers of Sharlock this race.
And not having sleep and stop spell till 16, it wasn't like I was going to try and dip in there any earlier.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, how did you feel about that? So it took an hour plus for you to get your first kill. You managed to score the sword in Cantlin and then get yourself rolling. And the levels came fast and hard early on, right after you got your first kill. And then you hit a wall from like 10 to 13 where the EXP got a lot higher, and that whole time, no hurt more, no heal more, no repel. Like, how did you feel about the magic progression? Just how did it impact your decisions after you started to get rolling, but still missed a lot of those big key utilities that you need transitioning into the mid and late game?
Yeah, I wasn't. The XP was so good right there by the castle, by Tanagel, that I was content to sit there and farm XP, farm gold. So I was also farming gold so I could go get the silver shield over in Cantlin, and then get myself up so I got heal more, and then go back into the grave, and then I found the sword in there, and that helped things too.
Yeah, we actually saw both you and Jackimus do like a ghetto gold grind. Jackimus actually did it at Garenham once he had keys, because there was a magic key and a big gold chest behind the Garenham locked door, so he was exiting and entering the town repeatedly to gold grind. And you did very similar thing over at Tantagel Castle. In the end, he never actually picked up the silver shield, whereas you did. He did find the flame sword way, way on the other continent in Remolder, but that didn't turn out to matter too much, as he found it not long before finding the sword in the grave. And also, you actually were in the grave pretty early on, and you died not very far away from actually finding the sword to just kind of skyrocket your seed there. And it came with a magic key, which would have been huge.
Yeah, if I would have not died, I did something dumb in there and died for it and didn't go back for a long time. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes when you find those things early on, you kind of forget that they were there. I think Jackimus having something similar happened to Jackimus. Had an option maybe to go pick up some armor at some point and just never crossed his mind. So,
yeah, we actually saw Jackimus struggle to find the grave for quite a while there. And it could have been massive if you had landed the sword on your first attempt into the grave there, and because considering it would have came with a magic key that would have gotten you keys without access to Remolder, that could have just broken the seed wide open for you.
Yeah.
so
I knew I was in trouble when it was like an hour before I really got going. So whatever.
yeah, Sharlock did prove to be the great equalizer once again, as you guys were able to virtual high-five yourselves in Sharlock there, but not quite able to make it to the Dragon Lord before Jackimus was able to finish it for himself. But Amazing Toaster, an amazing effort nonetheless. You were able to finish the seed. Kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And-
indeed, GG. And I have to say, you had an amazing performance given how long it did take you to get your first kill, and you made up so much of that gap, both experience and progression wise, so quickly once you did indeed get going, that if you had just managed to get to the town earlier or land like some good crits that could have gotten you a kill earlier, this seed very much could have just been an exact 180 of how it was tonight. So very great performance from you.
I'm also a little bit angry at myself for getting to the town with no gold that first time. That was dumb.
Yeah, that
we
was
saw that. That was such a killer.
It was very unfortunate. But yeah, with this race finishing up, that is going to be the end of the slime round of our tournament. We do have the Drakey round locked in. First matchup I see here on Challenge is, in fact, Amazing Toaster is going to be up against Lord of the Synth in the next round. So that's something we're going to be able to look forward to here as well. Rounding off the rest of the Drakey round match, we're going to have Z-Man5778 against the Alan Heffley. Next I see here is going to be Captain Green 7 versus my co-host here, AzraelRavenheart. And we're going to have, I believe, one of our this is another 0-1 matchup here. We're going to have Jay Coper against Bresticle here. And then continuing to look at the Drakey round matchups here, going to have Sparkover versus Tristal MG. I think that's going to be a very, very good match. Looking forward to that one very much. AzraelRavenheart, want to take over and announce these matches here?
All right, so following that, we have our restreamer tonight, the Tie-Dye Guy, facing Chitin619.
That's actually going to be the 1-0 versus 0-1 matchup. Chitin coming in second in his first match, but the tie-dye guy able to take his first match.
All right, so that is indeed our pair down. So does that mean that we are now at the 1-0 matches, I believe?
Looks like it, yes.
All right, so we have Zarnax42 versus McGrew. Boy, oh boy, that is a match to keep your eyes on. We have It's Too Early, fresh off of a interesting defeat earlier tonight against Tristal MTG, facing off against Amazing Ampharos, who managed to beat Sparkover in the race earlier this week. We have the Sea Wolf 1 versus the survivor of a 3-hour marathon nightmare, Janice Zeal. Jackimus versus High Spirits, your victor tonight, versus one of the biggest known names in Dragon Warrior Randomizer. That is another match to keep your eyes peeled for. And then we have Ryusation versus Angry Larry. A little bit of bias. I'm going to pull for Ryu to avenge my loss earlier this week. But that should also be quite an even matchup there.
Yeah, Jackimus versus High Spirits coming up. Those are two powerhouses of Dragon Warrior Randomizer. That should be a very, very fun race to watch.
Yeah, and as Sparkover noted, Breasticle and Jacoper, they are like pretty much rivals. So that's possibly the match of the week. But the McGrew versus Zarnax match and the Jackimus versus High Spirits match are not very far behind that match.
And let's not forget the last match rounding out our Drakey matchups. It's going to be Ryusation and Angry Larry. Angry Larry, no stranger to heavy competition, running his own SHI tournaments, and Ryusation also no stranger to this Chaos Seed. So looking forward to that matchup as well. And Norastra dropping for the final time here. The commands, please do not forget to follow these runners, AmazingToaster and Jackimus. Go ahead and give my hard-working co-commentator AzraelRavenheart a follow, as well as our tracker High Spirits, restreamer to Tie-Dye Guy. And if you want to check out standings for yourself, go ahead and bop that challenge link. If you want to check out the schedule, go ahead and bop that link over here. And Azrael, want to tell them where they can get the randomizer?
Yeah, so you can get the randomizer at McGrew's GitHub link that is in the chat there, along with the link to join our Discord community, jump into the races, or just get some help if you're practicing on your own and you just have questions. Plenty of people free to help. And then don't forget, check the Horaro link there for the upcoming Randomania Randomizer Marathon running from March 23rd to the 31st, featuring all the randomizers you know and love from Speed Gaming and Randomania, all the way down to randomizers you might not have even know existed.
Yeah, Randomizer Mania, Randomizer Fever is definitely taking the speedrunning community by storm here. And that's going to about wrap it up for here on Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament on Randomania 3. We are going to be handing things off over here. We're going to be hosting Skybills doing some Super Mario Brothers 3, so please stay tuned. But for myself, my co-commentator AzraelRavenheart, for all the people behind the scenes, and Norastra, High Spirits, and the Tie-Dye Guy helping out on the restream for both of our runners here, thank you guys so much for watching, and hey, let's be safe out there. Good night, everybody.